Welcome back to Mondo Musings. I'm your presenter, Nicardo McLean. Now, while the eyes of the sprints-loving world were rightly focused on the National Stadium in Kingston last weekend, Alana Reid, sub-11, Bouwahjgie and Nkrumie, sub-10, and all of that historic niceness, there was a very talented junior speedster pulling off a truly exceptional feat of her own all the way on the other side of the world. Competing at the Australian Open and Under 20 Championships, Torrie Lewis, who only turned 18 about 3 months ago, so about the same age as Alana Reid, first claimed the senior women's 100-meter title by virtue of being the first Aussie across the line, just marginally behind Singapore's Veronica Shanti Pereira. And the following day, the Queensland youngster covered herself in even more glory by surging through the field late to get the better of the likes of world champs rep Ella Connolly and Olympian Riley Day. And both of these young ladies, her competitors in that race, have reached the 23-second barrier before and were child prodigies in their own right in the 200 meters. Now, one of the very interesting things that I noticed when I started observing Torrie Lewis a couple of years ago was that her race model is not dissimilar from that of a one-time Jamaican junior starlet by the name of Kivona Davis. Same type of race model. The first half is nothing to write home about, but then they come storming home over the second half of the race, whether it's 100 meters or 200 meters, exceptional speed endurance, impressive top end, the type of top end that allows them to pull fields apart over the last half of a race. Much like Davis, I do think that her improvement will be contingent on her bettering the first half of her races. If she can get the start sorted out, that will be the key to unlocking her full potential. And that, unfortunately, is something that Kivona has not been able to do to this point in her career, but fingers crossed, hope springs eternal. Now, she is also one of the most impressive all-round sprinters currently doing the rounds on the junior circuit. She has an 11.2 100-meter PB, 22 low 200-meter PB, and a very impressive 53.2 400-meter PB, which she did earlier this season. And that speaks to that speed endurance that I alluded to earlier. Now, as for the Jamaican connection, which obviously is something that I teased with the thumbnail, it does appear, as indicated in this report on the 2019 New South Wales All Schools Meet, that young Miss Lewis's father is from The Rock. And she's even quoted in this particular article when interviewed as saying that her dad and her mother, her mom, who is originally from Scotland, often joked about her donning the black, green, and gold when she was younger and just maybe expressing her interest initially in track and field. Now, thankfully for Australia, and maybe thankfully for the world, we know how competitive the Jamaican 100-meter sprint scene is, especially on the women's side. Her parents eventually put fun and jokes aside, and now their daughter appears primed to become a fixture on the global sprint stage in the famous, equally famous maybe, green and gold, minus the black, of course, alongside the likes of men's rising star and Olympic 100-meter semi-finalist Rohan Browning, the great male sprint hope, the new one from down under. So that's it for our comeback edition of Mondo Musings. Now, I do hope that you enjoyed the content, and if you did, please consider clicking the like button and sharing with your friends, because good people don't consume good content alone. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on the video, so leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able to. Thanks for checking in and checking it out. Until next time, peeps, Godspeed.